Have you ever woken up feeling like you barely slept at all, even after a full night in bed? Maybe you tossed and turned, stared at the ceiling, or woke up groggy and irritable. And then, by mid-morning, you found yourself snapping at your grandkids, feeling overwhelmed by small tasks, or just off. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. So many of us over 60 struggle with sleep. And let me tell you, it's not just about feeling tired. Poor sleep can turn even the sunniest morning into a foggy, moody day. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. Today, we're going to talk about why sleep matters so much for our mood as we age. And I'll share 5 simple, practical fixes that can help you wake up feeling refreshed, calm, and ready to enjoy the day. These aren't complicated routines or expensive solutions. They're small, everyday habits that can make a world of difference. Let's start with the first step, something so basic, we often overlook it. Fix 1. Stick to a consistent sleep schedule. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A schedule? At my age, I've earned the right to sleep whenever I want. And you're absolutely right. But here's the thing. Our bodies love rhythm. They thrive on predictability. Think of it like a favorite old clock. It keeps ticking smoothly when it's wound regularly. When we go to bed and wake up at wildly different times, our internal clock gets confused. One night you're up late watching a classic movie. The next you're in bed by 8 p.m. That inconsistency can leave you feeling jet-lagged, even if you never left the house. So here's my challenge for you. Pick a bedtime and a wake-up time that work for your lifestyle and try to stick to them, even on weekends. If you're a night owl, maybe 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. is your sweet spot. If you're an early bird, perhaps 9:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. The exact times don't matter as much as the consistency. Give it a week, and you might notice your body naturally feeling sleepy or alert at those times. And if you're lying there wide awake at night, don't stress. Stress is the enemy of sleep. If you can't drift off after 20 minutes, get up, do something calming, like sipping herbal tea or flipping through a photo album, and try again later. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Fix 2. Create a relaxing bedtime ritual. Now, let's talk about winding down. Many of us spend our evenings scrolling through news headlines, watching tense TV shows, or worrying about tomorrow's to-do list. Shakes head. No wonder our brains feel wired when we hit the pillow. What we do in the hour before bed sets the tone for our entire night. Think back to when you were young. Maybe you had a routine, brushing your teeth, reading a book, saying goodnight to loved ones. That's not just nostalgia, it's science. A calming ritual signals to your body that it's time to shift gears. So let's build a new ritual tailored to you. Here's an idea. About an hour before bed, dim the lights. Maybe brew a cup of caffeine-free tea. Chamomile or peppermint are lovely. Put on soft music, or try a few gentle stretches. If you enjoy reading, pick up a book, something uplifting or familiar. My neighbor Clara swears by her gratitude journal. She spends 5 minutes jotting down little joys from her day. A phone call with her daughter, the way the sunlight hit her garden. She says it helps her drift off with a smile. And here's a tip you've heard before, but it's worth repeating. Keep screens out of the bedroom. Phones, tablets, TVs. Their blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. If you must check something, try blue light blocking glasses or a screen filter. But ideally, let your bedroom be a sanctuary. Cool, dark, and quiet. You know, it's funny. When we're young, we fight bedtime. But as we get older, a good night's sleep becomes one of life's simplest, deepest pleasures. And the best part? These first 2 fixes aren't just about sleep. They're about giving yourself permission to slow down, to prioritize you. Now, I'd love to hear what you think so far. Have you tried a bedtime ritual before? What helps you unwind? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. And when you're ready, let's keep going. There's so much more to explore. You know, sometimes the secret to a better night's sleep isn't just what we do at bedtime. It's how we spend our days. Think about it. Our bodies aren't built for on and off switches. They're more like gardens. They need sunlight, movement, and the right fuel to thrive. So let's dig into 2 more fixes that'll help you nurture your sleep and your mood naturally. Fix 3. Soak up morning light and move your body. First things first, let's talk about sunlight. When we were younger, many of us spent our days outdoors, gardening, walking, chasing after kids. But as life slows down, it's easy to miss out on that daily dose of sunshine. Here's why that matters. Light, especially morning light, is like a reset button for your internal clock. It tells your brain, hey, it's daytime. Let's get going. And that helps you feel sleepy at the right time later. My friend Arthur started opening his curtains wide every morning while he sipped his coffee. Just 15 minutes of natural light made a difference. Within a week, he noticed he was falling asleep easier and waking up less groggy. If you can't get outside, sit by a sunny window. Even on cloudy days, that natural light works wonders. Now, pair that light with a little movement. I'm not talking about running a marathon, just a gentle walk around the block, some seated stretches, or even dancing to your favorite oldies in the living room. Movement during the day helps you sleep deeper at night. But here's the catch. Try to finish any vigorous activity at least 3 hours before bed. You don't want your body revved up when it's time to wind down. Fix 4. Rethink what and when you eat and drink. All right, let's move to the kitchen. Raise your hand if you've ever thought, a nightcap will help me sleep. I've been there too. But here's the truth. While a glass of wine might make you drowsy, it actually messes with your sleep cycles. You might fall asleep faster, but you'll likely wake up more often or feel unrest in the morning. And then there's caffeine. Oh, caffeine. That afternoon cup of coffee. It might still be buzzing in your system at bedtime. Try cutting off caffeine after noon. Swap it for decaf herbal tea or a glass of water. Speaking of water, stay hydrated, but maybe ease up on fluids an hour or 2 before bed. No one wants multiple bathroom trips interrupting their sleep. Now let's talk about meals. Ever had a heavy dinner and then felt like you were digesting a brick all night? Me too. Try to keep evening meals light and finish them a few hours before bed. A small snack is fine if you're hungry. Think warm milk, a banana, or a handful of almonds. These foods have nutrients that actually support sleep. Look, I'm not saying you have to give up your evening tea or your Sunday roast. It's about balance. Small tweaks, like having that cup of coffee earlier or swapping a rich dessert for a lighter option, can add up to sweeter dreams. You know, it's funny. We often treat sleep like it's separate from the rest of our lives. But every choice we make, from the moment we wake up to the moment we close our eyes, is part of the story. And the best part? These changes don't just improve sleep. They make our days brighter too. Now, I've got one last fix to share with you. Something that tackles those racing thoughts that keep so many of us up at night. But before we get there, I'd love to hear. Have you noticed a connection between your daytime habits and your sleep? Maybe a walk that lifted your mood and helped you rest? Share your stories below. I always learn so much from this community. When you're ready, let's explore that final piece of the puzzle. You know, one of the biggest sleep stealers I hear about from folks our age isn't physical, it's mental. Those nights when your mind races with worries, regrets, or tomorrow's grocery list. My late husband used to call it the midnight parade. All those thoughts marching through your head when you should be resting. But here's the thing. You don't have to let that parade take over. Let's talk about the final fix, and honestly, it might be the most powerful one of all. Fix 5. Calm your mind before bed. Now, I'm not going to tell you to just stop worrying. If it were that easy, we'd all be sleeping like babies. But there are simple tools to quiet that mental noise. One of my favorites is something you can do right in bed. Deep breathing. Not the kind where you force it, but slow, gentle breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Try counting to 4 as you inhale. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. It's like sending a signal to your body. We're safe. It's time to rest. Another trick? Give your worries a curfew. Earlier in the evening, grab a notepad and jot down anything nagging at you. Bills to pay, calls to make, that leaky faucet. Write it down and say, I'll handle you tomorrow. It's like tidying up your mental clutter before bed. My friend Margie from book club does this every night. She calls it her brain dump. She says it's freed up so much space for peace. And if you're lying there thinking about the past, things you wish you'd done differently, try this. Picture yourself gently placing those thoughts in a box and setting them on a shelf. You can revisit them tomorrow if you need to, but for now, they're safe. You've earned this rest. Sleep isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about opening up to the idea that you deserve this quiet, this healing. And when you protect that, when you guard your sleep like the gift it is, you will notice the world feels lighter, brighter. Even those moody mornings start to fade. So let's tie this all together. We've talked about sticking to a schedule, creating a calming ritual, soaking up sunlight, tweaking your diet, and quieting your mind. None of these fixes require fancy gadgets or drastic changes. They're about tuning in to what your body and spirit need and giving yourself permission to prioritize them. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. Miss a bedtime, have a late night cup of tea? That's okay. Progress, not perfection. Even one small change can ripple through your days, lifting your mood, sharpening your mind, and filling your hours with more joy. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What tip resonated most? Have you found a trick that helps you sleep? Or maybe a challenge you're still working through? Share it in the comments below. Your wisdom might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you found this helpful, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more wonderful folks like you who deserve restful nights and vibrant days. Thank you for spending this time with me. However you came here today, whether you're struggling, curious, or just looking for a little hope, know this: you're not alone. And tomorrow, well, tomorrow's a new day. Here's to waking up ready to embrace it. Sweet dreams, my friend. Your best days are still ahead. Crescent Moon subscribe for more tips on thriving after 60.